I feel so empowered as a vegan activist. Since going vegan I am starving. For more knowledge on how to save the planet from the deadly and real #climate crisis through grassroots, not co-opted controlled opposition, #activism and #climate action.
One thing, which is that you mentioned $130 trillion.
105, I think it is.
105.
Yeah.
I have $130 trillion in my mind, because that is the amount of assets under management that are going to be handed over in the next 5 years to the millennials. And in a way, that to me is maybe some real hope, because money is going to have to be invested in those green projects.
I can sleep comfortably knowing that the grown-ups at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, the IMF, the UN and World Bank are working hard to educate you all and bring solutions to the real and imminent #climate crisis that is our fault for being alive and not sterilizing ourselves and not listening to the superior people on the television screen.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I want to be a socially acceptable and approved global citizen like all the activists at the Free Global Citizen Festival in New York City, so I did some research on what the amazing 16-year-old human shield Greta Thunberg wants us to do for #climate action.
Greta, could you please tell us what kind of message, what you are doing here today, what kind of message would you send by doing this to world leaders? And also can I ask you, do you think it's about time that President Trump would respond to what you have said today?
I think... I'm sorry, what was the first question?
What's the message you would like to send to our leaders by doing what you are doing?
I think what we want to send is, the message we want to send is to say that we have had enough. And anyone else wants to answer that question? I can't speak on behalf of everyone.
Anyone wants to answer about the message to world leaders?
I think maybe you should give some questions to the others as well.
What a bully. Why, how comes did the mean grown-up pick on the poor innocent 16-year-old human shield? I don't hate children. I am not a bigot. I want #climate action now, and if that's not clear enough I let the World Resources Institute answer those grown-up questions. Bill Gates is a major benefactor of the Extinction Rebellion movement and close friend of philanthropist champion of science, Jeffrey Epstein. He is a grown-up who knows our house is on fire, and he is warning us that we need to take #climate action by helping the philanthropists at the IMF and World Bank to give sustainable loans that help destabilize nations in places where there are all those extra people. We can help these uneducated climate change driving extra people to help us to stop the #climate crisis by giving their resources to global corporations and banks who can then educate them on institutionalized infanticide and make them grow GMO crops so we enlightened vegans can import it for our nutrient-fortified plant-based kibble.
The Africans ought to get to decide which crops they grow in which ways and which seeds.
The strongest analogy is to medicines, and is there something to worry about with medicines? That is, might some of them have side effects? Do we need safety testing? And we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. So, yeah, I think maybe we should have a safety system where we, do trials and test things out. The idea, though, that you would take a technique that promises to solve nutrition problems, solves productivity problems, solves crop disease problems for African farmers, where it's absolutely a life and death issue for them. And you would say, oh, nothing that uses that technique should possibly use. And it's so random, what's considered in GMO and what's not considered GMO irradiating things.
I trust this grassroots organizer, Bill Gates, friend of philanthropist Jeffrey Epstein, knows what's best. I am not afraid of science and progress. It's too complicated for me and I am too confused to come up with my own opinions. I let the grown-ups like Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein do the hard thinking. I hope Greta Thunberg told Obama, when they met, that he and John Podesta should use vegan Beyond Meat hot dogs next time they need $65,000 of hot dogs from Chicago for a private party at the White House. That will help Bill Gates and global financiers fight the hashtag climate crisis emergency even more better.
Hey, what's that gadget?
Global
Television?
citizens breaking news. Some naughty indigenous animal-abusing non-vegan troublemakers in Ecuador are making bad time for good grown-up President Moreno, who has declared a state of emergency that removes limits to government power and allows full censorship of all media in the country. These bigots making it hard for Moreno to help the planet don't know that they must want sustainable IMF-loan dictated austerity measures to make them austere. They don't understand that it will save the planet if these extra unnecessary people pay more for fuel so their government can sell off all the nation's fuel, minerals, water, and land to the Fortune 100 corporations and members of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development for pennies. These President Moreno-phobic bigots should focus on the good news, that they get to pay more than twice as much for fuel and they'll get discounts on Bayer Monsanto pesticides and microfinance loans from the World Bank and Bill Gates to buy mandatory pharmaceutical products for their children's health and industrial machines that can destroy their soil and cover it in nutrients like pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides so they can grow sustainable patented corn instead of the thousands of varieties of local heirloom foods. This is what's best for them, and the planet. I just wish Moreno would adopt mandatory veganism for these Ecuadorians. These indigenous people don't know a plant-based diet is what is best. I'm hoping Moreno and the UN help us animal rights activists to stop them from keeping chickens, goats, sheep, and cows because they have a lot of able-bodied people who could be growing soy and corn for me. Earthling Ed, Joey Carbstrong and the rest of the newly formed Animal Rebellion. We will update you more on this developing situation in Ecuador as things develop. I'm exhausted and need a nap. All this rebellious and trendy cool vegan activism is so cutting edge. Tomorrow me and my new friends at Animal Rebellion are going to take over a massive meat market in London and the government and police will likely do absolutely nothing but temporarily detain a few of us. We are so excited, it will be so lit. We cannot wait to force everyone to go vegan to save the planet. First me and Joey Carbstrong, another vegan activist, will take hashtag climate action and go shopping for some plant-based kibble. After my mid-morning nap I feel so happy and nourished, empowered, and satiated for purchasing a sustainable lunch of shrink-wrapped plant-based pesticide-fortified GMO kibble from patented GMO wheat grown by Africans, paying off massive IMF loans thanks to the Rockefeller Foundation and Bill Gates' brave generous philanthropy. This sustainable mass-produced kibble is so much tastier and more nourishing and more ethical than real food. I don't miss animal foods at all. I am completely content with this lifestyle.
Super easy to be vegan in most places on Earth. That's the chip section. Don't even know if we want to go down there. Do we? Not really. I don't really go down there. Oh, except if you ever get any of this. We love the love corn. This stuff here, even though it's fried in oil, good for a little treat. These are vegan too. Look, like, I can't actually eat too much granola because it's so tasty. But Jordan's, you're pretty, just check this, when it comes to buying cereal, just check for honey. We don't want to exploit bees. So these Jordan ones are pretty good. Jordan Crisp, and in here. These are vegan. I've only just seen these. They look pretty good. Amazing. Let's have a look over here on the back of this. Sugar, rice flour, emulsified wheat flakes, maple syrup flavoring. Look, made out of plants, all right? So just took me 1 second to realize that as well. Healthy stuff. I eat lots of oats. I eat so much oatmeal. It's crazy.
I am so mentally healthy and happy like this vegan activist. It is acceptable to me to eat so much oats all the time and never eat real animal foods again. The World Business Council for Sustainable Development member corporations make the best Roundup fortified GMO plant-based kibble that makes my tummy smile pretty colors inside. I've learned so much about how to purchase and consume sustainable kibble from this dope and lit activist, Joey Carbstrong. He taught me that McDonald's is helping us to save the planet from the hashtag climate crisis and the animal holocaust.
Cause you know that I'm a vegan. I ain't eating no beef, no pork, no fish, no chicken. Now people think I'm tripping cause I ain't eating no dairy, no eggs. But I stay well fed off the fruits and the veg cause I care about the animals and the environment. I care about my health. If it ain't vegan, I ain't buying it. I care about the planet. If it doesn't, we go die with it. People hating veganism without even trying it.
Alright, so here we are in UK McDonald's. Yes, that's right, we're in McDonald's. I know I'm a vegan, but there's some stuff at the UK McDonald's that you can get that is vegan friendly, okay? The fries, they're not fried in any of the oil, so you don't have to worry about cross-contamination. I think they're fried in grapeseed oil or something like that. But then we've got the burger, okay? So the burger, this is a veggie deluxe with no mayonnaise, no cheese. And it's got, I add tomato sauce instead of the mayonnaise. This is vegan friendly here in the UK. Also, the apple pie. So the apple pie is vegan here in the UK. I've got a Sprite here. Now, we prefer them to not use plastic, so to say I don't want any plastic, we carry around our little glass straw. Boom. So anyone who's worried about buying vegan options at McDonald's, I wouldn't worry about it. I would support the vegan options where you can. Let them know that you're vegan at McDonald's, because if they bring a McVegan burger out, like you don't have to alter the vegetarian burger, you can just bring they bring a specific McVegan burger out. That would be amazing for animals.
That is so amazing for the animals. I can't wait to save the planet by eating McDonald's when I fly to the UK to join the animal rebellion that I learned about from Plant-Based News and Joey. Let's learn more about how to be an empowered grassroots hashtag vegan activist from this mentally and physically healthy role model.
Now it's time. It's time for us to rise up and rebel. Rebel in solidarity with animals and against the climate crisis. To join forces with Extinction Rebellion and highlight the injustice of animal agriculture and the contribution it makes to climate change.
We cannot end the climate emergency without first declaring the animal emergency. There will be no climate rebellion without animal rebellion. It is our duty to raise the alarm and rebel. We say, act now.
The establishment elite are so afraid of this grassroots extinction rebellion against the real and imminent death threats from the hashtag climate crisis emergency that the global media company Forbes says pension funds, NGOs, governments, and big banks should invest trillions of dollars in sustainable finance and support these badass rebellious and cool rebels in their quest to save the planet by getting rid of all the toxic CO2 emitting disgusting humans who won't listen to the people on the TV and stop breeding and using resources.
For it is those who currently perpetuate these systems of violence who could one day be the same people to end them. We need to tell them why. We need to educate them. We need to show them. That is why we're here today.
I am trembling and tingling from listening to this effeminate gelfling named Earthling Ed. The not co-opted and truly anti-establishment animal rebellion and extinction rebellion will stop the climate crisis and give delicious sustainable nutrient-fortified plant-based replacement food and IMF loans and conditions to all those CO2-producing Africans and South Americans who are ruining the climate with their toxic babies and their livestock. I am so glad that these youth are fighting with the grown-ups at the Rockefeller Foundation, the UN, Bayer Monsanto, Unilever, Kellogg's, IKEA, Walmart and the World Bank to save the planet.
But we are rising. We are stronger than we have ever been, and we will see that vegan world, because we will not stop until we make it happen.
I'm exhausted and hungry from larping in the streets with all these woke-ass divorced promiscuous wine moms and boomers, petulant pilled-out millennials, and vacant zoomers. I haven't eaten in under an hour. Let's take some #climate action now and have an unnecessary late-night vegan snack made by third world debt slaves. I feel so good about helping those CO2 off-gassing extra people over there who make my food to decrease their atrocious carbon footprint. The IMF loans that allow them to grow the GMO plants for my cheap, high-markup fortified kibble will save the planet from the toxic human babies by destabilizing their countries with a repressive puppet government police state, and making them poor and desperate so they give their minerals, water, land, and resources to the corporate members of the World Business Council on Sustainable Development for pennies. I hope Bill Gates Foundation provides them with microfinance for reproductive health services infanticide as well. Maybe plant-based news has a new fake vegan cheese recipe to help me suppress this nagging feeling that I'm being deceived and used by a giant global marketing campaign for a high-tech Bolshevik, Maoist-style revolution on behalf of the Fortune 100 and global finance.
I actually came here this morning to call out the racism that is inherent in the U.S. Dietary Guidelines.
Drinking milk is racist. I'm not a bigot. I feel so good about my vegan activism. This is what is best for everyone. I am fighting the man. I am not being duped. I am not a useful idiot being co-opted by something I am too ignorant, self-indulgent, and distracted to understand. I just need some truly enjoyable vegan comfort products that mimic real animal foods with plants grown by the extra people who the grown-ups on the TV taught me need to stop existing. This will stop me from thinking so much and numb me to reality so I can take more #climate action.
Today we're going to be cooking up Mexican pizzas. Really delicious. So the first thing we do is make a spicy bean mixture. So Mexican pizzas are in a sense a nice crispy tortilla with the spicy bean mix, and then it's got the cheese.
Oh, wow. The beans on this pizza are probably so acceptable. I bet I will not even desire real sausage after I take some prescription pills and overeat this Taco Bell style fake plastic plant cheese pizza in my smart city coffin apartment. Amazing. This is so acceptable to eat and so much more nourishing to me and the planet than real animal foods. I am not lying to myself when I say I like these Roundup fortified GMO corn tortillas from sustainable Monsanto seeds grown by the extra people in Mexico, fried in GMO soil from patented seeds grown in Brazil and processed in China. This is really so much better than a fatty steak seared in butter, or real pizza with real cheese and meat on it. I do not want to eat real animal foods. I am empowered and not starving for real nutrients. I don't think it's hypocritical that plant-based news, promoters of the #animal rebellion that wants to force the end of all animal food consumption, does sponsored recipe videos with this fake vegan cheese made by a company that makes real cheese from milk. The fake plastic plant cheese is what everyone needs to eat to save the planet. I feel good about this. I am not trying to convince myself that I enjoy this. Gas and bloating are normal and fun and cool. If I eat this way a few months more, I will stop craving real animal foods and will save the planet. Vegans don't look unhealthy and sickly, those are just the ones who are doing it wrong. Vegans who say this diet ruined their physical and mental health were never really vegan and did it wrong. We can produce more calories from plants than animals on the same amount of land if we take everyone's land and make them grow plants. Eggs are murder. Unborn human babies are just clumps of cells. I am not being deceived. I am not mentally and physically destroying myself and the world around me with this fake plastic cheese diet and toxic weaponized pop culture.
Hot, but great.
Hope you enjoyed watching that video. All of the ingredients, everything you need for all the recipes is just down there. Applewood cheese, it's out now, isn't it?
It's definitely got my vote.
Brilliant. I'm going to finish this off. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Peace, Reflections.